It's April 19th, 2021. The garden is recovering from a once-in-a-generation freeze. Got down to 9 degrees here. A lot of the things are coming back. Many of the things are not. This is still only a second year, third year mixed garden here, so everything's still pretty new. Over here, we have big red sage. The big red sage is at one point was thought to be endangered or maybe possibly extinct, but it was found somewhere in Texas, and I bought 3 of them. They are hummingbird magnets. And what else is interesting is that they attract not one butterfly, but all butterflies. I believe this is called Salvia Pentstemonoides. It looks like a penstemon, but it is a salvia. It's got a square boxy stem. You can see I've got a whole, just a ton of them over here. I don't know, 17. So something like that. Over here I've got, so these are designed, I guess I should finish why these are even here. These are designed to come up right about now. You can see that the blue bonnets right behind them, these are blue bonnets, and the blue bonnets are going out. See those, the blue bonnets? Well, the blue bonnets are going out. When they're going out, they look kind of ratty. And I can't have a big ratty patch of weedness. My homeowners association would not like that. So I need to put something up in front of it that will be coming in right as this is going out and will be a flower. You can see I got a construction crew over there next door building this house next door. Well, this is a second year. By the third year, it will have 6 or 8. By the fourth year, it'll have 12 of these coming out at the same time. You can see how tall it is. So right about the time the blue bonnets are going out, the big red sage is coming in. So I've got a lot of them here, and it's really to screen traffic. These are Gulf Muhlies, and the Gulf Muhlies are here just to catch bluebonnet seeds. So I want the bluebonnet seeds to stay over here. And these Gulf Muhlies were just planted a couple months ago, maybe in October or something like that. So they're new. Usually by this time, they'll have more shoots on them. It's, almost May. They'll have more shoots on them, and they'll act as a screen for bluebonnet seeds going that way. Eventually, I'll have a couple of rows of them here to kind of keep stuff this way. Over here, these azaleas are really overgrown. These are azaleas, believe it or not. Look how big the branches are on these azaleas. For scale reference, I'm going to put my hand in here. These things are pretty substantial. And we cut it back quite a bit. I mean, it was all frozen back. I can see there's quite a few vines in there I need to go get, so I'll get those vines here soon. And a little bit of Turks cap. Turks cap's not going to stay here. This is just going to be an azalea screen for my eventual garden. Eventually, the garden will go right here. So this is a water oak, and it just won't quite straighten up at the top. It's always been like that. I've tried staking it. I've tried all kinds of different things. Just won't straighten up. So hopefully it straightens up. I might even just pull that thing. We're gonna let this Yopon grow. I think it grows slow enough that I can keep it away from the power line. Right now it's about 6 feet away. So I'll just, proactively keep it away and prune it, and it's not a big deal, I don't think. Okay, Mealy blue sage. The Mealy blue sage is one of the first bloomers, kind of like blue bonnets. It's a succession bloomer. This is here because it is in the line of sight of the blue bonnets, as you can see there. And even when the big red sage grows up, the big red sage is going to grow this way, so it'll cover this whole area. These are designed to grab your eye so that when the blue bonnets are going out, these are coming in. You don't even really notice the blue bonnets. There's a bunch of greenery right here, and then there's these flowers. That's what this is designed for. So these Mealy blue sages are from Devil's River. I got them straight from the Pecos River Valley. And they do look a little bit different than normal Mealy blue sages, just slightly. You'd have to have a Mealy blue sage next to it to be able to tell. but they do look slightly different. So I don't know if it's just different cultivar or maybe because it's native. I don't know. These are Salvia Greggii. Most of the Salvias came back. The reason they're not coming back is because people have been running them over. So what's going to be interesting is I'm going to put see their mailbox right there? As far back as the mailbox is set, I'm going to put a large boulder right there so that when people are coming and driving this way, if they decide to run over my lawn, they will also know that they tried to run over my lawn. And so the Salvia Greggii mostly came back. These are the nicest Salvia Greggii I've ever seen. I love the red on the deep dark hunter green. I just love that look. This one I don't think is going to come back. You know, there's a couple that didn't come back, but most of them did. I mean, most of them came back. This one came back. Most of those came back. So there's supposed to be a big bunch of them here. And then line it out. And they're going to line all the way down until they touch some Mexican mint marigolds, which are going to go right there. Well, the cannas. So I like a big patch of cannas. I really like the large leaf against the small leaves. And so I've got taller cannas to the back, pretty simple design. Shorter cannas to the front. Now I say shorter cannas to the front. These ones right here, this bunch of cannas right here, that even now that I look at it, kind of looks different. These bunch came from my grandmother's mother's grave, or maybe her home, I'm sorry. My grandmother transplanted these, and she had them in a spot that was too shady. So I finally decided I was going to move them out here, and so there you go. So we've got, I don't even know what these are going to look like. They've never bloomed before. They never get enough sun. So they're right up front. Hopefully they don't get, I don't think they get too tall. They look like they only get 2 to 3 feet. And then these variegated ones, I'm not sure which exactly ones they are, but they're yellow. And then these guys back here I planted, they're also interesting orange and red combination flowers, which is really cool. Can't remember what they're called either. I'll have to see the flowers to be able to tell. I've planted so many. And then these are all seeds. All of these right here, anything on flat ground right here is a seed. Anything in a mound is something I purchased and put in here, or from these transplanted. But right here, these are all seeds. So these are shorter red ones, and these are a mix. I'd have to see again. So this is one of my favorite plants right here, Majestic Sage. Love the purple against the deep green, and the purple and red I think makes a really nice combination. They're not in full bloom yet. This one is, but these plants both bloom a lot, and so they will be great for each other. They'll just be constantly blooming back and forth on each other all year. So really looking forward to that. And you can see more Majestic Sage and the Salvia Greggii. I paired those together specifically for curb appeal. They're wildflowers that bloom continuously. Pride of Barbados, I'm super disappointed in this. I've got a couple of sprouts, but none of the parents are coming back, which is interesting because in Austin they're all coming back. So yeah, I just find that kind of interesting. The Esperanza, you know what? I've just about had it with Esperanza. These are Esperanzas right here, these big thick trunks. These guys have been here for 2 years. They're not coming back. Oh, there's one right there. There's one I see. Maybe I need to bite my tongue. Maybe they are coming back. It's not quite May, and I've given them till May, but that's the first growth I've seen. That's the first Esperanza type growth that I've seen here on any of these plants. So, I mean, hopefully they come back, but if they don't, I'm going to replace them. I'm not doing, maybe an Esperanza here or there, but I'm going to treat it as an annual because they die every year. So I think what I am going to do though is take the sweet almond verbena and add more of them right here. This is my smell feature. Really like this, and I want more of them. I also might run the Gregg's Mistflower up into here. So maybe I have fewer Pride of Barbados and run the Gregg's Mistflower up into here and make it more of a butterfly friendly spot. Yeah. Here's a pup that's coming up. I'm definitely going to have to transplant that guy. That's a Pride of Barbados pup. So I think that's the only one I found in here, though. This is a Forsythia sage, and it's going to be transplanted. Now that I see what it looks like, I had no clue what it looked like when it got older, and it has these nice big leaves. I'm going to move it to a different spot. So I've got 2 here, and I've got 2, possibly even 3 here. Look at that. That would be super awesome if I had 3, because I've only got 2, and I'd really like to have 5. So if I could get a 5 set of these yellows, then I would put them right over there behind the Mexican marigold. So I've constantly got a yellow up there. I want a yellow right up there. And this will give me a constant yellow. Greg's Mistflower is coming out. This is Butterfly Crack. Butterflies love this. They just love that stuff. Can't wait for it to come back. Sweet Almond Verbena, like I mentioned. Got 5 of them here. They all came back, which is super awesome. And I'm going to get, I don't know, probably 4 more. So going over to the middle section, most of this stuff came back too. This is a Salvia Microphylla, which is a hot lip sage. A mountain sage. It's called a hot lips variety. You can see it's the red and white, which is what I really like here. So this is going to be a red, white, and blue garden. There's not a lot of natural blues. So what I've got here is Plumbago. There's Plumbago here, and 5 of them came back, 5 Plumbagos, but I lost 3. So got to replace a couple Plumbagos. Here, I only lost a couple of plants. I mean, I lost 1 here, and then 1 over there. But the Salvia Microphyllas came through with shining stars. This is something I transplanted from Austin. One of my favorites. I just love the flowers that it produces, and I love the fact that it has a reflex. Okay, that's just cool. Any plant that can move is cool. So I planted 3 of them here, and I want them to take over this space. The thing is, they will take over this space. They're only a few inches tall, but I've got it bordered with concrete everywhere, so they can't get out. So anyway, got another one here, over here, and then 2 of them over there on that corner. Just trying to get them started, and I anticipate a lot of growth from these guys this year. They're in a great spot, and yeah, I'm anticipating a lot of growth, especially in the pink flowers with these red and white. It's going to look phenomenal. There's one of the Salvia Microphyllas that died. This is Mexican bush sage. All of the old Mexican bush sage is coming back. Some of the new ones, I took these as cuttings. Some of those are not coming back, so that's kind of a bummer. So 3 of them there. And I think I'm going to thicken it up back here. I think I'll put 2 rows behind it here. So these are artichokes. I had a couple of extra artichokes from Austin, and I literally had nothing to do with them. So here they are. I'm hoping that they bloom before they burn up. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. They took a little bit of damage from the freeze. This guy froze all the way back to the ground. So I'm not trying to get fruit out of these, just really trying to get a bloom. Got to be honest with you, I was hoping this thing wouldn't make it. I don't really like the Sago. It's old and it's big, and that's the reason it's here. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but I gotta be honest, I just don't like the Sago. It's coming back though. If it comes back, I'm gonna leave it. It's just easier. I've got so much of a project going on right now. This is just easier just to leave it. You see all the pups coming back. I'm not interested in the pups. I'm only interested in this huge guy. He's huge. So let's see what happens here. We're getting a lot of energy right here. A lot of energy going. And this is the Firecracker Fern. It was really important for me to leave this year because I don't want to weed this every year. I want to find out if the Firecracker Fern will come back and dominate after a freeze. Well, it didn't. You can see I definitely have to get in there and weed it. There's a lot of Firecracker Fern in here, but you can't even really see it. I mean, this thing is a monster, but it's May, and this thing should be dominating more by now. You can see this thing's out of control here. I don't know what this is. What is this thing? So anyway, the Firecracker Fern, had to get rid of that big tall thing. The Firecracker Fern is here to be a hummingbird plant. It's a big hummingbird magnet, so that's what it's here for. The Mexican bush sage is here because it's Shauna's favorite sage. She really likes the coloring on this one, and so I pile it up along the driveway. Blooms a couple times a year maybe. So this is an interesting experiment too. This is another area where I didn't want to have to come in here and weed it. I wanted to find out if the tropical sage could take care of itself. Now this is only a third-year garden. It will even get thicker, right? But damn, it did pretty good. There's a couple of weeds in here I need to go pull, but overall, it's all tropical sage. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Nice, big hummingbird garden right here. This is all hummingbird plant right here. And then I've got a little break. This is going to be my walkway right here, so I can get, to and fro. And this is going to be the black and blue sage. I am so impressed with this year. I cannot believe how many there are. I mean, I should have guessed. I've been really trying to propagate it. Every branch I could lay down, I've been laying down. I've been taking the seeds and spreading them out all over the place. My goodness, I didn't expect it to be this thick. This is awesome, especially right after a freeze. That's wonderful. Got a hydrangea back here, hydrangea. And I would really like to get a couple of hydrangeas right here. This one got severely injured by the freeze, but made it. So I think it's in a good spot. I mean, if it'll make it out here uncovered in 9 degrees, I think this is a really good spot for it. I picked the spot very carefully. It's blocked from the northern wind. It gets southern sun all day. It's got rock all the way around it that gets a little bit of exposure. So it's got heat. So hopefully that works out. And the black and blue sage, let's just look at that combo right there. Isn't that awesome? Oh yeah, it is. So the flame Acanthus, this is the hummingbird magnet. When I sit outside and work, this is what I see the hummingbirds defend all the time. So I like the fact that I have a few of them here, and I'm not opposed to adding more. I've got 5 more growing at home, and I'm really debating bringing them here and sticking them in the ground because they are hummingbird magnets. Larkspur is coming in really well this year. This is a second-year garden for the larkspur. It'll get thicker next year. I really want this patch of ground covered. It's a sunflower garden. I've always wanted a sunflower garden. This is where I put mine. So I've got a sunflower garden right here with different kinds of sunflowers, mostly Maximillian, but I planted 2 different kinds of sunflowers in here this year as well. I'm sure you can't tell what they are right now. They're not blooming, but it's going to be a pretty substantial garden. You can see that they're almost blocking out the larkspur in some areas, like some of the larkspur that are behind, like over here, and you can see a couple down here, right in there. I mean, those larkspurs are maybe not going to make it because the sunflowers are kicking their butt. See this guy right here? He's hardly getting any light there, hardly at all. Also, the other thing I want here is cilantro. So the cilantro will come in the cool weather, and it'll bloom this nice white bloom before it dies. And it's just a nice flavor. It's a pretty plant. You can see it's just a nice structural plant in the garden, and it's cilantro. I mean, who doesn't love cilantro? So thinking about, I planted a whole bunch of seeds in here this year to see what would work. The cilantro worked, so I'm definitely going to plaster this with cilantro for the fall garden and just let the cilantro grow. You can see there's more larkspurs back here, and this is just going to be a wonderful, wonderful garden of sunflowers and larkspur. So this garden, I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. This is the Durante right here. All of them died except for that one. And so rather than repopulate, if they're not going to make it, I'm not going to repopulate with that species. I'm going to start over. Well, it looks like we might have some growth here. See, I'm still giving it till May 1st. So we might have another one coming back right here. So that would give me 2. I've already transplanted 1, that'd be 3. What I am going to do, though, is make this into a lantana area right in here. Lantanas don't smell very well, and so you don't want them right at the front of your garden. You kind of want them in the back so you don't have to smell them. You can just see them. And also they're they're butterfly magnets, so I want the butterflies drawn off of the road. That's why I'm putting the highest butterfly magnets just off of the road, like the Gregg's Mistflower over there, which this is also, I'm going to make a patch of Gregg's Mistflower right here running up into the new gold lantana. I've got 5 more to plant, 5 more new golds that'll go right here. Greg's Mistflower right here, and then I'm going to put some larger lantanas right there. So yeah, that's what's going on here. So this is a garden fail right here. I planted so many wildflower seeds in here. I got nothing. I got nothing. Oh my goodness, this is just weeds. I actually have to weed this. I was hoping some sort of wildflower would come up. Nothing came up. This is a fail. I was really hoping the Texas bluebells would come up, but they're just not. This is the Turks cap garden. It is big. It's way overgrown at this point. It's bigger than what, let's be honest, it's 3 times bigger than what we need. So I am going to put a border in here, and I'm going to cut this back on the border. It's all going to be cut back. But we're going to go back to a more sensible garden. I am fine with a cast iron plant in there. So cast iron plant's coming back. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some larger shrubs in here and use the Turks cap as the ground cover, the existing ground cover. So should be pretty cool. I might even put the Durante back over there somewhere. Can't forget to mention Texas sage, my favorite. The Texas sage garden started right here. These are Rio Bravos. Got 3 of them put together. Oh, it's a branch on this one. And they're doing okay. They're struggling a little bit, but they constantly keep falling over. The armadillos love digging underneath them, and so they're constantly falling over. So that's definitely been a struggle that I've had. Moving over here. This is the Sabol minor, dwarf palmetto, and 3 of them are going to go here to kind of block this. So eventually this is going to be blocked just because there's so many spiky things. It's going to draw your attention away from it. And this is here just to shade it, which it's not quite doing that yet. I mean, it sure looks impressive. I bought this last year. It's a very expensive plant. I never pay this much for trees, but I needed a tree that was going to shade this thing. Right now it's only shading half of it. So I'm really hoping by the end of the year with 1 more prune that it will just be shading, growing towards the shade. So that's what we got here. So the ligustrums are in full bloom. I wish you could smell this right now. I mean, it just smells like honey in the air. The bees love it. It just smells amazing. I love having these ligustrums here. In Houston, these ligustrums are on the list of hardy plants to plant. In Austin, they're apparently invasive, but they smell unbelievable. So we've got a whole big row of them here. And in the past, the owners would have them cut off at the rail here. And so I've allowed them to grow all the way up because I wanted a screen. And you can see if I step back here, it's turned into a partial screen, right? Like you can see through it, but you can't really see what's going on there. And in another couple years, once they thicken out, because they've never been able to grow above this. They've never been able to grow above that. And so this is 2 years worth of growth there. And in a couple years, once they thicken out, you're not going to be able to see through there. So that's wonderful. So this is what I got so far. Compost pile. It's going to be moved a little bit because I want to make room for a Meyer lemon. The Meyer lemon's going to go literally right on, right where this wall is right here. That's where the Meyer lemon's going to go. So I'm going to move this up. Anyway, it's going to be redone. Let's have a Owari Satsuma. Apparently this is a very good and very cold hardy Satsuma orange. So got one of those. Got a avocado tree. I believe this is a Joey, but I'm having a hard time remembering exactly which one it is. But regardless, I got an avocado tree here. I can go look at the receipt. I suppose I should find out which one it is, but I'm pretty sure it's a Joey. So this is going to be the start of an orchard. We're going to have avocado, orange, Meyer lemon, And then on the other side over here, we're gonna have a fig. So we'll have a whole bunch of stuff lined up. This is the little bit of food garden here. Onions, Swiss chard. I pulled out some chives and laid them down because I noticed the cats are coming up here, and the cats hate this smell, so hopefully it will detract them. The whole reason I have so much onions and garlic and stuff planted is to keep the cats away. This is cilantro, what I talked about earlier, and the cilantro just looks beautiful right now, so definitely want to put that to good use up front. These are some walking onions here. Got walking onions over there, and have a New Zealand summer spinach right there. Thought I had another New Zealand spinach. Oh yeah, there it is. New Zealand spinach right here. So I'm hoping that I'll have a summer green and a winter green crop here. This is like emergency plan food, right? Like I might not even eat this. This is like just kind of ornamental stuff, but it's also edible. So if I ever need to, but this is definitely going to be eaten. This is garlic. And it's organic garlic. So that's awesome. Garlic chives right here. And the garlic chives are just bulletproof. Love these garlic chives. Also have an Italian Swiss chard here. Italian Swiss chard. Italian Swiss chard. And I think that's a Bright Lights. I think so. So also in this garden, we've got a Venus flytrap. So here's the Venus. Hold on. Yeah, so we got a Venus flytrap garden there. You can see one of them is really caught on. See that guy right there? All of this is new growth. Almost all of them died. And I planted 12 initially, and I'm pretty sure all 12 of them have come back. I've put them in an ideal environment. You can see they're partially submerged. They're in a wooden, I wanted them in wood instead of stone. I just figured they probably have a relationship with bogs and wood and stuff. So, yeah, that looks really cool. Really cool. Getting it started anyway. And I have them here under this old azalea, and then again under this yaupon, and also a little bit of filtered by the redbud here. So they get a little bit of morning sun, like maybe an hour of morning sun, and then it's filtered the rest of the day. I figured that'd be the best environment for them. You can kind of see the pond here is a little bit different. The Texas star hibiscus are still here. I've got a leak in the pond. You can kind of see how far down it is right there. It's down, kind of see the edge there. It's down quite a bit, a few inches anyway, 3 inches maybe. So I don't know where the leak is. It's still going down. I don't know exactly where the leak is, but there's definitely a leak in the pond. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it, and I just figure out where it is. I don't even know where it is. I guess I have to just let it drain out until I find it. So yeah, Texas star hibiscus, I transplanted these. I literally just took some cuttings and shoved them in the ground to see if they'd work. It looks like this guy's caught. This guy I'm not sure about. He may or may not. He's still green and he's still kind of growing, so you never know. And then I've got one of the water lilies from my grandfather. This is there's like 200 kinds of water lilies, so I don't know exactly what this is. I believe it's called a stargazer water lily, but I'm not exactly sure. And then this is the Texas native water lily over here. It's a white flowered water lily as opposed to this one. This is duckweed. The duckweed is given to me by Texas Parks and Wildlife to repopulate the lake. And this is also water willow. Water willow, most of it just went in the lake, so that's why there's not very much here. Over here we have pickler weed. The pickler weed is also a Texas native, found all over rivers in Texas, and an aggressive grower. Beautiful purple flowers, which is why I put it right up front there. I think the purple and white will look nice. And yeah, I put a bunch of pickler weed in the pond, or in the lake too, recently. So we're also going to be getting rid of this part right here. We're getting rid of all this monkey grass right here. I'm going to put some native wildflowers in here, duh. But I'm going to put some sort of native wildflowers in here. And we got to just get rid of all this stuff. This is not, it's old growth. It's been here too long. I don't even know if he wanted it here, but it's here. All this has got to go. All this has got to go. Not all that. So over here I did find a Sabol minor, dwarf palmetto, which is one of my favorites. And I purposely didn't nuke it. So I'm going to let this guy grow. And, oh yeah, it's just coming out now. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to let this guy grow, and everything else can go. This is a water oak right here. This guy is, it's only a third-year tree. It's 7 feet tall. It's unbelievable. This is a Drummond red maple. It's a replacement tree for some other trees that were out here. I planted it 3 months ago. It's grown 2 feet in 3 months. It's unreal. Here's another Drummond red maple, and this is specifically to be a replacement for this. This tree was ripped off in a storm up there. Not sure if you can see it on video. There's a big tear in the tree there, and I think it's going to start hollowing out. There's been a lot of woodpeckers around here. I think they're finding bugs up there, so that tells me it's probably going to get hollowed out eventually. Hey, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, but I want to start a replacement tree right now. So I got a replacement tree for it. This is the new sod. New sod looks wonderful. Been putting Medina Plus on it and soil activator, and the new sod looks wonderful. Let's come down here. Let's look at the pond, or the lake garden. So you can kind of see stuff sticking out, kind of. You see that over there. That thing keeps moving. I think a fish got a hold of it, or I think it's moving. So I don't know if it's going to stay here or not, but it is definitely moving. That's okay. I've got more, and I kept more just for this reason. If it ran off, I got more. So the water willow is right there. Duckweed is right here. And then I wanted to put this between them, but that's moved out of the way. And I've got pickler weed over there. So I don't know what's going to end up happening here. The lake is, well, the lake's at its normal level right now. So they were supposed to lower it a little bit for this month, and right now it's normal. So I'm hoping that they go back to lowering it. If they just lower it 6 more inches, all these plants will be out of the water. But as it is, they're only tips out. So I'm really hoping that they grow. I see a lot of yellow dead growth over there. So, yeah. All right. This is the living wall. Spent a lot of time on this with the irrigation and placement, a lot of time on placement. These are short longleaf pines right here. They look like little puff balls. This is a loblolly pine that's going to mix in with these two. I think I'm going to get two more longleaf pines, I think. We'll see. I think that's what's going to happen. Got a Monterey oak right here. Another Monterey oak and a Monterey oak. Sounds like a lot. They're spaced 10 feet apart. That's because I want a thick screen right here. These Monterey oaks don't grow like live oaks. They grow more upright. So I want a thick upper canopy there. Put a cherry laurel right here. Cherry laurel is designed to add density right here and height. Wax myrtle right here backing these two, designed